And so you're feeding people. And I love that moment where it's sort of almost like a kind of light bulb moment when people taste a piece of pie and they go, oh, that's really nice. I've always been interested in food, and at the time that I was starting the business, there wasn't really a pork pie anything like the pies that we make. There was a lot of super traditional pies that you would have bought in butcher shops, and they were very proudly super traditional, and they were all sort of different qualities of very much the same product. There was a lot of sort of old-fashionedness about pork pies and blokishness about pork pies, and there was the other end of the market, which was the really cheap garage forecourt type pork pies, and there wasn't anything that was a bit different, a bit more about sort of the flavour and young people and women and families and celebrations. So I kind of took it from my kind of personality and interests and sort of in a way layered that onto the pork pies. So I made a lot of different flavoured pork pies. So it was about having a gap in the market that we felt that we could kind of steer ourselves into and say, here we are, and promote in our kind of personality. When I was growing up and eating pork pies as a child and subsequently, what I didn't like about them partly was a lot of the time you get a really thick pastry, and I always used to find that a bit of a burden really, and also I never liked the jelly, and so when I started making my own pork pies I started making them differently. I wanted to be where I lived, and I live a few villages away from here, in a beautiful little quiet village, and we're on sort of the edge of the coast, and it's a place full of marsh harriers and swallows and buzzards and hares. It's that question of being able to sort of find my place and be in it. Where we are and the food that's produced in the area and where we get our ingredients from, it all kind of, I like the way that it all comes together and how we all kind of knit together and work together and support each other, and always have done. We started off with our own pigs, but as the business quite quickly grew, it reached the point where we'd definitely outgrown our own capacity, and so we had to get pigs from other people. And so that's kind of carried on, and the pigs that we're using at the moment are outdoor pigs from Oxborough, so they're still Norfolk pigs and lovely, happy pigs living an outdoor life, which is really important. Each one of our pies looks different to its neighbour. You know, it will cook slightly differently. When it's crimped, the crimps will all be slightly different because we mix things by hands. It just gives that kind of nuances of flavour between each bite. So that to me is what artisan means. It means that there is still enough hands-on care and attention for that kind of individuality, and to me it means that food, and when I eat other people's food that's produced in this sort of way, it just seems to have a bit more of a life to it. The flavours and the textures, there's something about it, the look box of things. There's just got that sort of energy that means real people have been involved in this. Quite a lot of our business is mail order, and when we set the mail order up, I wanted it to really reflect the way that Bray's Cottage works, and I'm quite a visual person, and so I wanted, when somebody got their pork pies, I didn't want it just to come sort of rattling around in a cardboard box. I wanted it to be something, because a lot of them are sent to people for presents and things, but even if they're having it for themselves, I wanted it to be something that from the moment the box arrived was a pleasure. So we decided to design a sleeve, so when you open the outer box you see a nice typical sort of Bray's Cottage picture on the box, and then in the box we sort of wrap the pies beautifully, and there's lots of ice to keep them cold and things. It's what one of my friends who worked with us on this calls atoms of delight, and it's about that experience, the whole experience of getting something and it being exciting and a pleasure. It's not just sort of open the box and throw it away, but actually it's like, ooh, this is pretty, this is, you know, there's a lot of care taken about this.